Before we begin our service today, we acknowledge that we are gathering upon the homeland of the Western Abenaki people. We express gratitude for their traditional and ongoing stewardship of the lands and waters, and we offer respect for their elders, both past and present. As spring approaches and sugaring season begins, we remember that Western Abenaki have been sugaring long before teaching the art to Europeans. Good morning. I'm Tony Whitty, your worship associate this morning. My pronouns are he and him. On behalf of the entire worship team, I am delighted to welcome all of you, those of you in the sanctuary and those of you watching the live stream. We deeply appreciate your presence and fellowship as part of our beloved Unitarian Church of Montpelier. For 160 years, this church has been a sanctuary for those seeking spiritual sustenance as well as peace and justice in the world. With you, we continue today on that path. It's always a pleasure to have newcomers and guests join us for worship. If this is your first or second time and you wish to do so, you are invited to stand or wave your hand so we may offer you a special welcome. We are glad you are here. Any of you who are newcomers to our congregation are invited to fill out our welcome form available at the hospitality table in the vestry during coffee hour so that we can connect with you and welcome you more fully. Now we can all join in the welcoming by taking a few moments to turn to your neighbor in the pews and share a few words of greeting. Thank you for, hello? Thank you, hello? Thank you for sharing these warm greetings. I think I need some mic. Hello? Thank you. You're invited to continue your conversation after the service during coffee hour. We still don't have, got the green light on. Are we good? Oh yeah. Please know that we have hearing assist devices available on the table at the rear of the sanctuary. And you can also listen to and watch the service in the fireplace room downstairs if you should need to leave the sanctuary for any reason. A member of our lay pastoral care ministry team is available in the sanctuary after the service if you have a personal concern or would like to share more deeply. This morning, our lay pastoral caregiver is Victoria Batten. Thank you, Victoria. Today is an all-ages service, a beautiful reflection of our multi-generational community rooted in love. Children, we welcome and love your ideas, your wondering. We welcome and love your energy and enthusiasm. Caregivers, thank you for inviting us into this blessed time of your lives. We are here to help you raise your children who are also rooted in love and our Unitarian Universalist values. To everyone, if you need to get up and move around or move closer to the front to hear a bit better, we encourage you to find ways that support your worship experience. We also have a soul work cart filled with items to engage both our minds and our hands for both children and adults in the back of this sanctuary. Let us all welcome our families and each other with a smile, a wave, or thumbs up, as every one of you here today is the embodiment of our vibrant and growing community. And now, let's take a deep breath, make sure our cell phones are silenced, and enter more deeply into our time of worship with the prelude. The composer, R. Nathaniel Dett, was descended from slaves who escaped to the north. He studied music at Oberlin Conservatory, Harvard University, and in France. In 1932, he earned his Master of Music from the Eastman School of Music. His song, from the piano suite In the Bottoms, features a beautiful melody that recalls African American spirituals and folk songs. In this piece, Dutt combines African American music with Western classical music while honoring their roots. This approach aligns with Unitarian values of cultural appreciation and social justice.
Our opening words this morning come from the Reverend Dr. Louis McGee, one of the first Black Unitarian ministers to be ordained. He served congregations in Chicago, Illinois, and across the state of California. And he said, "Our religion is a religion of social concern, a religion of intellectual and ethical integrity, a religion that emphasizes the dynamic conception of history and the scientific worldview, a religion that stresses the dignity and worth of the person as a supreme value and goodwill as the creative force in human relations. This religion can and ought to become a beacon from which this kind of faith shines." And in that spirit, let us worship together this morning. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, number 168 in the gray hymnal, "One More Step."
Let us now light the chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. We light this flame, an enduring symbol of our collective commitment to lead with truth and compassion. Now let us join our voices in saying these words of affirmation adapted from L. Griswold Williams. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant.
Good morning, everyone. Are you hearing me okay? Great. At this time, I'd love to invite up any children, young ones who we have in the sanctuary this morning. I have a story to share with you. You can come on your own or bring your adult with you. And if you're an adult who just would like to participate more fully up close, you're welcome to come up as well. I'm going to invite you to come up nice and close, since I think we're going to be maybe a slightly smaller group. Hi, Julia. Good morning. Good to see everyone today. Hi. I think we've got a few more people making their way, which is great. So I have something here that's going to help tell the story that I have to share. I call it a wonder box because I'll hold it up for the congregation. I call it a wonder box because I wonder what's inside. And I wonder how what's inside has to do with our story this morning. So maybe you all can help me. Can I have a few volunteers who are up here to just open up that box and maybe pull out one item? Do you want to pull that one out? Okay, hold on to that for a second. Do you want to pull something out, Julia? You'll take that. Okay, I've got two more things. Anyone else want it? You want to come up? Yeah. There are two things in there. You want that one? Okay, you hold on to that one. There's one more. It's the biggest one. Anyone? Anyone? Miles is pointing. Do you want to take it? Yeah? Okay. Okay. Great. You hold that. You can hold that right in your lap. Okay, perfect. So, those of you who had your small packages wrapped up in tissue, will you unwrap what was in there? Okay, will you hold up one or all? Great. Will you turn around and face the people behind you and show them what's in your hand? Can you show them? A few people in the front can see. What are those? Do you know what those are? Well, I'm sorry, what Luis is holding. What are you holding? Coins. What kind of coin? Do you know what kind of coin that is? It's a nickel. Yeah, you've got some nickels. And what do you have, Adeline? You want to hold that up? Do you know what kind of shells exactly? Clam, close. Not quite clam. Oyster shells. Okay, and then what did you have over here, Julia? You have a photo. Okay, the congregation will get to see that a little bit later, all blown up on the wall. And then what do you have over there? You've got a book. And what does it say on the front? Someone might need to help out. An adult even, or Miles, what does that say on the front? It says the Bible. Okay, we've got a nickel. We've got some oyster shells. We've got a photo and the Bible. Let's see what our story. So I called this story From Oysterman to Universalist Minister, Reverend Joseph Jordan. This is a story of Joseph Jordan. So a long, long time ago, before, well, for you youngest ones, before your grandparents were ever born, there was a child named Joseph Jordan. And Joseph was born in the state of Virginia in 1842, so that's a long time ago. And at that time, many black people were not free. They were forced to work for others, and they were treated really unfairly. And many were not allowed to go to school. Many were not welcome even in churches. But Joseph was born as a free person. His parents were both free. And as a boy, he worked near the water gathering. What do you think he was gathering, Adeline? Oysters! Yes, he gathered oysters to make some money for his family. And he worked hard with his hands in other ways. When he grew up, he became a builder. He built houses and he fixed things. He built furniture. He learned to read and write, which was very special at a time when Black children were not allowed to learn those skills. And Joseph read the Bible. Yes, Joseph read the Bible and loved God. He became a Baptist minister and he preached in church. But one day, someone gave him a book, a different book, about Universalism. And Universalism teaches something very important. And I'm going to say it, and then I want you to say it with me. So Universalism teaches everyone belongs. Can you say that with me? Everyone belongs. And that means everyone, no exceptions. And Joseph read in the Bible that Jesus said, love your enemies. And Joseph began to think that maybe love is stronger than hate. And here's why this was a really brave thing to believe. At that time, many churches did not welcome Black people. Many schools would not allow Black children inside. The doors were closed to them. And some people even believe that Black folks should not be ministers. Some people believe that Black families should not have their own churches or schools. But Joseph believed that if God loves everyone, then everyone belongs in church. And if God loves everyone, then every child deserves to learn. So Joseph decided to travel, to study at a Universalist church many, many, many miles from his home. And you know what the name of that church was? The Church of the Messiah. But not this Church of the Messiah. The Universalist Church of the Messiah in Philadelphia. But that's the same name that our church had many, many years ago. So he studied there, and he learned, and he prayed, and he worshiped with that community. And he became the very first Black Universalist minister. And no one had done that before. So Joseph then went back home to Norfolk, Virginia, and he started a church. They had to rent a room where they could gather. And then do you know what he did? He built with his own hands the pulpit that he would preach from. And those were the same hands that had gathered oysters, that built houses, and now he had built a place where he could preach love. So more and more people started to come to the church. They wanted to hear this message that God loves them and that everyone belongs. They wanted a church where everyone is treated with respect. And Joseph didn't stop there with just the church. Because many schools wouldn't allow Black children to attend, Joseph and his friends helped to start a school. And families would pay one of those nickels. Can you hold up a nickel? They'd pay 1 nickel a week. That's how many cents is that? Who knows? How much is that? 5 cents, yeah. So they'd pay 1 nickel a week so their children could learn to read and write. And there's the photo of some of the children. Do you want to show it to everyone down here? And then they're going to see the photo also. So this is a photo from maybe the 1890s or just at the turn of the century of some of those students at that school. The school helped thousands of children learn their letters and their numbers, and it stayed open for many, many years. Joseph died at the age of 59, pretty young, but the church he built kept going. The school that he helped start kept teaching. And so we're not the first people to believe that everyone belongs. Joseph believed it also, when it was much harder to say such things out loud. And we are part of that same story. We are a people who believe everyone belongs. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Caitlin's going to tell us what comes next. You can just stay right here before you head out, and I'm going to collect my items back into my Wonder Box.
Exploration program, we have a Love and Action Day for all our children and youth, where we will practice being stewards of Black history. And before we head out, I just have a couple announcements that I would like to make. The first is just a friendly reminder that March Mystery Magic signups end 1 week from today. Liz is holding our magical star. If you have questions, you can find her. There's forms to sign up in the vestry during coffee hour today. And just if you're on the fence, just a couple FYIs, okay? So, one, clue drop-off will be super simple this year. You can just drop off your clues at the spiritual exploration table. Before you head into service, you can drop them off as one or all three. So it's just a simple drop-off, and then we will deliver the clues for you. There is no need to give a gift. Just a little handwritten note or clue is wonderful. Adult pairings are also encouraged. So if you would like, you can choose to be paired with another adult, or you can choose any age group. And new this year, there's also the option to stay in touch with your buddy and participate in future gatherings together, which you can indicate on your sign-up form. So it's simple, it's fun, and it's a wonderful way to feel the magic of community. So see Liz or visit the SE table for more information. All right, and when we sing everyone out today, we are all going to exit through this door here. If your child is not registered for spiritual exploration, or this is your first time joining, we are so happy to have you here, and please come to fill out a form, and then you can stay or return to service. Children's Chapel will be dismissed from the room between the vestry and the School Street vestibule around 11:15, and adults, please be sure to sign out your children before you go. All right, now let's sing our children out.
It is a joy to be part of such an engaged community. Here is some of what's happening now. The Lay Pastoral Care Ministry team will hold a fireside chat today after the service for parents with strained relationships with adult children. The team will offer a space of non-judgment and compassion to bring some light to this difficult reality. The chat begins at 11:30 in the fireplace room. Church members are welcome to a meet and greet with members of other Montpelier congregations today at 3 p.m. across the street at Trinity Methodist Church. Join in conversation and fellowship to explore possible collaborations among our congregations. There is a lot more going on in our community, so please consult the weekly e-news, which is carefully updated each week for its Friday morning publication. The act of giving is a spiritual practice as important as any other element in our shared time of worship. Each month through the UCM Community Pouch program, we share part of our collection with an important church fund in a community organization aligned with our values. This month's Community Pouch recipient is the Hames Best Project, providing support for independent living and employment to adults with intellectual disabilities throughout Vermont. Half of our cash offerings will go to the pouch recipient. The other half will directly support the mission and ministry of this congregation. You can find the offering pouches at the end of the pews on the side aisles. Please pass them toward the center aisle. We are grateful to each and every one of you for your generosity in its many forms. Your offering will now be gratefully received. Our choir offering today is Lift Every Voice and Sing, a hymn of faith and struggle known as the Black national anthem. It was written as a poem in 1900 by writer and civil rights activist James Weldon Johnson and set to music by his brother, John Rosamond Johnson. Originally performed for Lincoln's birthday, it became an NAACP anthem and a cornerstone of the civil rights movement. UU Minister Reverend Aisha Asano offers these additional words of introduction. This song deserves to be sung with attention. It is a song that starkly names the horrors and violence of racism in this country, and it is a song that should make us uncomfortable with the history that it calls upon, uncomfortable with the fact that the struggle for racial justice continues and has not come quite so far as it should have by now. How can anyone sing the words, treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, without a deep, deep discomfort? So when we sing this song, will you join me in singing with intentionality? Will you join me in the deep discomfort that I will be feeling singing those words? Discomfort with the pain and horror that those words refer back to, and discomfort with the fact that those words do not only refer to a distant history, to also to what is happening now? Will you commit to sitting with your own discomfort, and then will you tap into that discomfort and do something? Will you lift your voice and sing until earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty? As is custom for this anthem, please rise in body or spirit.
While the choir is getting into place, I will just say that the choir will be singing the first three verses, and then it will go back to the first verse again, and you're all welcome to sing as you wish.
Thank you, everyone, for giving your heart and your attention to that song. And I offer you thanks as well for the generosity of your financial gifts offered today. I know that we do this every week, and it is no small act to find what you can give and to offer it. So thank you for your generosity, for allowing us to make a difference as a religious community. And I'll invite us now into a time of meditation and prayer. This is a time for us in our service, maybe for you during what might be a busy, overwhelming week, to just have some quiet, some stillness, some moments to reflect inward, to pay more attention to what is on your heart, to the condition of your spirit. And as we give attention to our own hearts and spirits, we know also that we are embedded in community, in this network of relationships that bring us together. Though we might have different stories and histories and backgrounds, together in this community, we strive to make it a place where everyone belongs, where love never runs out but is with us in abundance, and where peace can always be found, if not in the outer world, then inside ourselves. And though we march on, in this moment, we can simply rest, simply be here together, offering compassion to ourselves and to one another. And let us join now in a time of quiet meditation, and I'll invite us to have a good, full time. It might feel longer than usual, and I invite you to just settle in for a few moments. I'm going to see if my headset mic the pulpit mic's sounding a little funky. Let's see. Are we good? Do we need more volume? A thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, great. Just a slight digression. I meant to, in our time of meditation and prayer, acknowledge that some folks might be feeling distracted by a very important global event happening this morning, and it's tied, headed into overtime, men's hockey gold medal match. I praise all of you who have sought the spiritual nourishment of church, and others are seeking the thrill of the Olympics. And so just wanted to let you know. Okay. I noticed the thinner pews this morning. I won't take it personally. It's, historic event this morning. Just kidding. Our reading this morning is called Being You, and Black, written by Maya Wade Harper. Being You, and Black means watching as they put up the BLM sign and knowing the fight has hardly started. It means being coined a token and lifted up while you do all the work, means late nights and meetings, sermons that you hope they will hear, means answering questions that you don't want to answer and hoping it will all be enough. It means asking for more diversity, but not appropriation. It means backlash and tight smiles and exhaustion. But being you, and Black also means raising our hands and voting for justice while friendships warm my heart. It means feeling right at home in those walls and knowing these people understand. Means education and singing and healing and marching in the cold together. It means knowing your dream is shared by others and you can accomplish it together. Means chalices, rituals, and sacred spaces, feeling welcome and loved and holy. Means supporting values that support my people's life. It means Black spaces and spending time healing with those who look like me. It means knowing inside that you belong, even if sometimes it is so hard and tiring. I am here to stay. Joseph Jordan, Egbert Ethelred Brown, names that mark beginnings. The history of those who have been discriminated against and marginalized in society is full of firsts. The first Black Universalist minister, the first Black Unitarian minister. I want to share with you some of the story of the first Black woman to be ordained into the Unitarian Universalist ministry, the Reverend Dr. Yvonne Seon. And I offer my thanks to the Reverend Kiyama Raman, who wrote the book, The Rough Side of the Mountain, Black Women's Ministries and Unitarian Universalism, which is where I learned of Reverend Seon's story. Reverend Seon grew up understanding that God is love. That was the religion of her church that she attended. And she says this was pretty much all she needed from religion, yet she remained interested in the topic, and in a conversation with friends at her college, one of them told her that she sounded like a Unitarian and encouraged her to visit the nearby congregation. Reverend Seon writes of her visit to that Unitarian church in rural Pennsylvania in 1958. One Sunday, I went there alone in search of church community, a place where my personal beliefs were not out of place. That Sunday is one I will never forget. The minister spoke to my deepest beliefs about God and religion. I got up at the end of the service feeling full, wanting to share, but the members, all white, peeled off in every direction, speaking to one another. I was left standing alone in the middle of a pew near the center of the church. There were no hellos, no handshakes, and no words of welcome. It was as though I were invisible. Nevertheless, I walked back toward the entrance to greet the minister. As I stood at the back of the line, I saw an African-American woman coming up from the basement carrying a tray of muffins for the coffee table. I moved out of the line to greet her, but she quickly turned her back and returned downstairs without responding to my smile. Was there no church community there that could include African Americans? I wondered. Reverend Sand's relationship to Unitarian Universalism continued to evolve over time, just as the culture of the United States in regard to race has also changed. It was over a decade later that Reverend Sand was reintroduced to Unitarian Universalism in her role as a teacher at Wilberforce College in Ohio. In the course of her work, she met the Reverend David Eaton, who was the newly appointed senior minister of All Souls Church in Washington, D.C. And Reverend Eaton was the first African American called to a major urban Unitarian Universalist church. The two had dinner together, and Reverend Eaton spoke of his vision for Black participation, and he invited Reverend Sand to visit All Souls whenever she might return to Washington, D.C. And she writes, "For the first time I saw Unitarian Universalism in a favorable light. When we returned to the D.C. area in 1973, I began attending with my children." And she attests to the feeling that she had there, so in contrast to that previous experience in Pennsylvania. She says, "At All Souls, I felt community among Unitarian Universalists. I was excited about the excellent gospel choir, which was my entry point into participation. I attended my first General Assembly singing with the Jubilee Singers in Philadelphia. Soon thereafter, I was invited to participate in a seminar on the history and philosophy of the UU movement and to sign the membership roll. Having learned that King's Chapel in Boston had become the first Unitarian church in America where the minister removed all reference to the Trinity from the Book of Common Prayer, I was sure I was in the right place." You can see why her friend told her she sounded like a Unitarian, right? Reverend Sand would later feel the call of ministry and attend Howard University Divinity School. She was ordained as the first Black woman in Unitarian Universalist ministry in 1981, almost 100 years after the first Black man was ordained a Universalist minister. Like Reverend Joseph Jordan, Reverend Yvonne Sand was also forging a new path within our religious tradition. And she also, for a time, found great fulfillment and success in starting a new Unitarian Universalist congregation. While she was studying at Howard's Divinity School and continuing on after her ordination, she began to gather a community of worshipers, just kind of informally. But this quickly evolved and became a congregation named for Sojourner Truth in the southeast region of Washington, D.C. Their mission was to be an intentionally diverse religious community. In 1988, Reverend Sand spoke to the Unitarian Church in Philadelphia about this new church startup. She said, "As far as we know, Sojourner Truth Congregation represents the first attempt in over 50 years to start a new UU church in a context populated primarily by people not typically included in our movement. Our movement," she says, "is over at this time, though I don't think very much has changed." She says, "Our movement is over 90% white, middle class, and college educated, in stark contrast to our neighborhood. We fought for this new start in the inner city because we are convinced that it is in the city that our social and religious values confront the realities of modern life in a way that most challenges us to exciting new growth." And she closed with encouragement to that congregation.
Most of all, UUs believe that we have a responsibility to put our faith into our way of living and being. We know that this requires us to respond promptly to issues and concerns of the community with respect to our policy of being open. This means we must take steps to include greater diversity, that we must seek diversity, that we must include diverse expressions, and that we must allow those who are different from ourselves to find ways to be comfortable in our midst, even when it makes us uncomfortable to do so. This struggle to expand who feels a sense of belonging in our Unitarian Universalist religious communities continues today, just as it did during Joseph Jordan's time and Yvonne Sean's early ministry. And yet, like Reverend Jordan, Reverend Sean's congregation eventually dissolved. She returned to teaching and is no longer active in UU ministry. Inclusion and diversity continue to be values that we strive to put into practice, finding new ways to do things differently, to change and transform. In this spirit, this congregation adopted the 8th principle 4 years ago. And according to this adopted principle, we join with other UU congregations to covenant, to affirm and promote journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and in our institutions. And this language and commitment are echoed in the new articulation of the Unitarian Universalist Association's purposes and covenant, which were adopted in 2024. We work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. We covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. That last part points toward the new challenges that are before us in our own day as being a diverse, multicultural community is met with renewed resistance. This past fall, I attended a conference in New York City called the Fierce Urgency of Now. And at this conference, many different religious leaders spoke about our work as faith communities at this time. One of those speakers was the Reverend Dr. Kelly Brown Douglas. She's an Episcopal priest. And she shared 4 tasks for religious communities. I want to share just one of them with you today. She said that religious communities right now can serve as sanctuaries of sacred history, sanctuaries of our stories. When people's histories, not just individual stories, but the history of an entire group are erased or attempted to be erased, lives become expendable. And this is the deeper theological claim of these attempts at erasure, that lives are expendable. And this matters for the future because it deprives future generations of moral guides and inspiration for their imaginations. And so Reverend Douglas says, we must be keepers of truth in a time of suppression. Dismantling racism today means taking up that moral imperative to tend to our history and to share our stories. The stories of Black Unitarian Universalists and our collective history of struggle for racial justice and equity continue to inform and shape us today. So the question before us is this: what might it mean for us to be worthy of these stories? Joseph Jordan standing in a pulpit where he was not expected. Yvonne Sean standing alone in a pew where she was not welcomed. Egbert Ethelred Brown organizing across islands and oceans. They did not wait for the perfect moment or the perfect welcome. They claimed their place in a faith that proclaims the inherent worth and dignity of every person, a faith that proclaims to be a community where all thrive. In doing so, they expanded that promise for all of us. If we are to be sanctuaries of sacred history, then we must do more than remember. We must also embody what we remember. We must ask, who is standing alone in our pews now, literally, figuratively? Whose gifts are we overlooking? Whose leadership are we resisting because it asks us to change? To honor this history is to practice it. To tell these stories is to let them claim us. May we be a people who not only speak of beloved community, but who build it with courage, with humility, and with a love that refuses to leave anyone out. So may it be. I invite you to join in our closing hymn. It's number 108 in the gray hymnal. My life flows on in endless song. Please rise and body your spirit. My life flows on in endless songs.
As we draw our service to a close, we extinguish the chalice and carry within each of us its healing flame, the warmth of community, and the spark of hope into the days and week ahead. Please join now in our unison mission statement. We welcome all as we build a loving community to nurture each person's spiritual journey, serve human need, and protect the earth, our home.
These are the words of the poet Langston Hughes. Wandering in the dusk, sometimes you get lost in the dusk, and sometimes not. Beating your fists against the wall, you break your bones against the wall, but sometimes not. Walls have been known to fall, dusk turn to dawn, and chains be gone. We conclude our service with the postlude.